Darcy Castor here from the magazine Lifestyle TV. We are happy to share that Rocking for a Cause, the magazine Lifestyle Spring Issue Reveal Party and Charity Benefit event, is moving to the City by the Sea. Come join us on the waterfront June 3rd in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island for food, fashion, signature cocktails, live music, celebrity sightings, and more as we raise our glasses to celebrate the reveal of our spring magazine cover featuring a legendary, iconic musician. And are you ready for the big news? We're excited to announce that Nick Fradiani, winner of season 14 of American Idol, will headline the show, serenading us as we enjoy a breezy New England evening. Celebrity chef Kevin DeShanes will be the star of the kitchen, sharing his unique flavor in the creations he's making especially for this event. Your ticket includes food, pictures on the red carpet, a concert with Nick Fradiani, swag bag, and a guaranteed good time with your friends from the magazine. Join us Thursday, June 3rd in Newport, Rhode Island at the Reef for this private event. Get your tickets at themagazinelifestyle.com and make sure and grab them soon. This limited seating event, it's probably going to sell out fast. The event is a production of the magazine Lifestyle and Chef Kev D, and we invite you to join us on the waterfront for Rockin' for a Cause. Guys, welcome back to the magazine Lifestyle TV. This is your host, Darcy Castro. Today I have Dr. David Warman with us. He's a doctor of chiropractic medicine. We're so excited to have you here today, Dr. Warman, to talk about wellness.
It is my pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to be part of your show. Thank
you so much. And you're also a contributor to the magazine. So those of you that have been subscribers who have a print edition, make sure and check it out. Dr. Warman's got some great articles in there. Before we get started, Dr. Warman, tell me a little bit about what you do, because as I understand, you do a lot more than just chiropractic care.
Correct. So I started in the industry. I was a personal trainer for a while and then became a chiropractor. And I've been in the health and fitness industry pretty much my whole life. I was an athlete growing up, playing basketball. Mm-hmm. So I've seen all the dynamics. And to me, my body is where my source of power comes from. Like when I am in good shape, when I feel good, then I have high energy. I can attack other areas of my life. My self-worth is better. My relationships are better. My entrepreneurial side is better. So going through taking care of patients for 22 years now, I've seen that it's our lifestyle that creates the damage and the problems that we live with every day. And most of us want a quick fix or a patch to kind of get back on track. But if we don't change the habits or the lifestyle that created it, we always recreate the same problems. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the time, it's the 6 inches between our ears that cause us to have all these problems. So I developed a program called the Warman Way. Now, the Warman Way is a different approach of looking at your health and wellness and your well-being. And I've taken it to look at, there's 4 major categories in our life that we need to focus and emphasize on to actually have abundance. Fitness is the first one. So I call it living a life on fire. And there's an acronym, right. F is for fitness. Now, fitness means how you move, how strong you are, your body fat percentage, your heart rate, your diet, your blood cholesterol levels, all these things that are important. So movement is a key factor, but that also comes along with diet. What are you putting into your body? Because there's food that gives you energy and then there's food that takes away energy. And are you putting the right things in your body? So that's the fitness part to me. If I have my body strong, the rest of it comes a lot easier. So that's the first aspect. The I comes from my inspiration, my self-worth, my passion, my purpose. If I feel inspired, if I feel good about myself, I achieve my goals. I am more beneficial to my kids. I can teach other people to get to where they want to go, because to me, self-worth is huge. And one of the things I teach one of the clients I work with all this, and this is a quick tip that you can do right away, is take a list, write down everything that you actually love about yourself and what's good, what you're good at. So much of us focus on what we're not and where our downfalls are that we forget how amazing we actually are. And everyone here is amazing in some way. And when you can start to focus on what you're actually amazing at and where your benefits and what you love about yourself, you actually feel better about yourself. So you make better decisions. You make better decisions of who you interact with, what you put in your mouth, how your lifestyle, because you feel good about yourself and you know you're worth it. The R is the relationship aspect. Now, the relationships can be coworkers, your significant other, your kids. Are we communicating with their language? Because there's actually 4 different personality types usually out there, and they communicate slightly differently. But are you aligning with values with the people that you're at? Surround yourself with people that have the like values, because one of the challenges is if I'm into health and fitness and I'm with someone that's not, they're going to put down my lifestyle and how crazy I am about going to the gym every day and that I eat a salad instead of a burger. Like, they're going to have a negative connotation to where I want to go as a goal. So that's not a good fit. And then the entrepreneurial side of it is, can you make a living with something you love to do versus a job? Because then you're not working every day. And then you actually don't need motivation. You don't need stimulation. You do it because you love to do it. And now you're creating abundance, because financial stability helps everything else out too. It gives you more opportunity. Now, money doesn't make you happy. It just makes life easier. So I feel that we should all have strength and abundance in all 4 dynamics, because they all push each other, right? They're all intertwined to some way. So some people, when I meet them, maybe it's their fitness that's the problem. I meet CEO entrepreneurs, very wealthy, good looking, but their family relationship is down the dumps because they don't know how to communicate. Or they're the best father or mother ever, yet they're broke all the time and they struggle to make ends meet. How can we create a lifestyle that's stress-free? That's pretty much where my goals go.
I love it. And I love that holistic approach to wellness. Because you're right, it is all those different pieces. And that's so interesting to hear you lay it out like that. It makes perfect sense. I love that. I find that very inspiring. Yeah.
Hey everyone, Dr. David Warman here again. And today I want to talk about, is your body and your fitness a part of your power? Now here's the thing, okay? When I teach things and I want to get you guys to make a difference in your lives, I want you to be on fire in your life. I want you to work on your fitness, your inspiration, your relationships, and your entrepreneurship. Now, the thing is our fitness in our body is a source of power for us to have success in everything else we do. Now, think about yourself, okay? If you don't feel good physically, if you have aches, pains, conditions that are going on, it's hard to put energy in other areas of your life. It's hard to produce an income. It's hard to have a great relationship if you're in pain all the time. If you don't feel good about what you look like, it affects your confidence, your swagger, right? I know in my own life, my body is a very important vessel for me, because if I don't have my body, where am I going to live? Here's the reality. As time goes on, if we don't take care of ourselves, we will break down. And the thing is, when our body breaks down, we break down in other areas of our life. We break down in our inspiration or our self-worth, because when you're in shape, you feel better than when you're not in shape. Now, I don't have to say that you have to be lean and cut to feel good about yourself. Absolutely not. But do you feel good about your body? Does it feel like a source of power for you, or does it feel like a source of weakness? Because if it's a source of weakness, we need to do something different to launch you to feel better, more powerful, more energy, so you get more accomplished. You feel better in your relationships. You feel better about yourself. You feel better about producing things in your life, and that creates income and prosperity to yourselves. So I want you to think to yourself, is your body a source of power at this point in time? If it's not, what do you need to do? What's one thing you could do to change that? Is it diet? Is it exercise? Is it, I need to get this pain solved, get to the cause of the problem instead of matching it with a pill or a medication all the time? What do you need to do in your life to change something about your fitness or your body so that it creates power for you? So I'm not a big person about you have to look a certain way, you have to have a certain aesthetic, or that's nothing to do with it. You could be chubby but strong and powerful and you feel really good about yourself. Great. Own it. I want you to own who you are, your authentic self. But if you feel weak because of what you feel like, look like, something needs to happen. So what's one thing that if you change, would make a difference in your body, in your fitness? So food for thought, post down below. What's one thing you guys could change? And then That way we can also start to give you some action steps on how to actually change that. Hope this tip helps. See you on the next one for Over 40 and On Fire. I'll talk to you guys soon.
I saw on your one of your social media channels, it says, it's a quote that you have next to your picture. When you knock on the door of opportunity, don't be surprised that it's work that answers. This is not easy, right? Wellness is not easy.
Wellness, success, wellness, your physical being is not about being the most talented. It's about being the most consistent. This is a journey. You have to love the process, not just the outcome. Yeah. Because diets, the word diet has the word die in it, right? So it's not sustainable. When we get on diets, we always jump off. We always lose it because it's not a lifestyle change. Create lifestyle habits that get you to the goals you want, but love the process and understand that once you start to create the habit, it actually changes your brain structure. Dopamine is the feel-good chemical in our body. And when we do things and we accomplish them, we get a little squirt of dopamine. It makes us feel good. We want to do more. Right. And when you start to create habits and you start to see results, you keep getting that dopamine in your brain. So you keep wanting to do it. But until you get to that habit point, and the reality, it takes 90 to 120 days to make permanent change in the human body as far as habits and cell tissue regeneration, that you have to go through the pain of getting through 90 days of something. Once you do, life is a lot easier.
Love it. I love it. And, because you're a practitioner and have this expertise in your field, I wanted to ask you a few questions about health and fitness and things like that. But first, I want to ask you a little bit about goal setting. Take me through that. What is your philosophy on that? What can we do to get motivated, to stay motivated, to set goals that are meaningful, that we actually have the ability to achieve and not abandon at the first obstacle?
Right. I think, when we look at goals, we have to link goals to our values. And a lot of times, a lot of people have a hard time reaching things because they don't link values that are really important to them. Like I know people that say they want to lose weight, but they value the taste of fried food and that more than they actually do value the results. Right. So if I have to go through pain, because there's always going to be pain when you're trying to reach your goals. It's always work.
And that's okay.
And it's okay because that's part of the struggle. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it, right? Because you wouldn't feel good about it because you didn't have the struggle with it. But if I link my goals to something that I have value with, like one of my biggest values is physically, I want to stay strong. And one of the reasons I want to stay strong is I have little kids. I have an 8-year-old son, a 10-year-old daughter, and a 19-year-old daughter. Yeah. And I want to be able to play basketball, wrestle with them, have fun with them when I'm 70, when they're in their prime. Right. And that's where my value system comes from. I want to be able to interact. I don't want to be stuck in a wheelchair. I don't want to be on a rocking chair all the time. So I'm linking my values like, okay, I see the chocolate cake. Oh my God, that would be so good right now. But I choose short-term pain over long-term pain.
Short. That is right?
The
very,
36-hour pain rule. Okay, eating the chocolate, not eating the chocolate cake is a short-term pain. I'm not taking the gratification. I'm having to delay feeling good on that. But if I eat it, I have long-term pain. I feel guilty. I don't feel good. I lose my energy, and then I get off my diet, and then the cycle goes down. You're worth it. Right? You're worth going through short-term pain versus long-term pain. And when we can look at things saying, okay, I have this opportunity. Is this a short-term pain or a long-term pain? And if I choose short-term pain, I win. That's pretty much the biggest thing. So when I set goals, I'm setting my goals that are on a time frame. And I usually set them at 90-day cycles.
Oh, interesting.
Okay? The human brain works in 90-day cycles. When we go too long with our goals, like you set your goals, 3-year goals, 5 years, so those are good visions to have. But those are big things I want to accomplish over time. But I have to set many goals in between to get towards that.
Yes.
Because if it's too far out, I lose focus.
Right.
But if it's too short, I get too frustrated if I don't get the results. So you have to give yourself wiggle room. It usually takes 90 days for habits and things to change in the body, and you start to see good change. Because I can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to set up a workout program for you. You go one day, you don't see any difference. You're frustrated. But if you do it for 90 days, you're going to be like, wow, I feel better. I have more energy. I've lost body fat. we have to set them SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, on a timetable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you reverse engineer what I need to do. So if I need to lose, say, 10 pounds in 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to calculate, okay, how many calories would that be? I would have to lose about 2 pounds, 1 to 2 pounds a week. So I have to decrease my calorie intake by about 500 calories a day,
Mm-hmm.
either by burning them up working out or not eating them. Or do I do a combination of both so I can get there faster? So once you set the goal, you reverse engineer how you're going to get there so that there has steps you can follow. That makes it more attainable, and it's not as overwhelming when you do that.
And that sounds like, too, that's where working with a professional, whether it be a life coach, a fitness coach, it really is so useful. And that investment is so important because, like you said, you're worth it. You're worth it. And a lot of us try to figure this stuff out on our own with a lot of conflicting information. And that can be quite an obstacle, even just to get out the gate.
But just the fact that you have someone holding you accountable,
yes,
and you're not just going to let yourself down, you're going to let someone else down, that changes the dynamic. That's why personal training actually works. The funny thing is, a lot of times you go to the gym and you see the personal trainers doing the same thing with them over and over again, but they're actually showing up. And these clients know what to do. They just wouldn't show up if they weren't paying for it.
Exactly.
So that's the pain point there that you have to put so that you actually show up.
Yes, and investing in ourselves is so important. Is just critical.
Hey, this is Dr. David Warman here with another workout tip. Now today we're going to be talking about, are you doing 1 reps? Now, in order to create muscle development, definition, and hypertrophy, we want constant tension on the muscle. If you want to gain strength, then 1 reps actually work. But this is what a lot of people do in the gym. Say you're doing front raises. They do this, they do 1, then they go to the other. Every time I do this, I'm taking a break on the other arm, so it becomes just a 1 rep at a time. Good for strength, but not good for hypertrophy or development. So if I want to create constant tension, I will go 1 at a time. So then you stick your rep range, and you do 1, and then you switch, and then you're going to do the other. Think about having constant tension on the muscle at all times in order to create hypertrophy, more muscle definition, and get better definition.
I want you to explain to me, we're talking about goals also, like I'm a woman. Women, we tend to be a little bit more emotionally driven. So tell me about connecting our feelings and our emotions to the goals and how that can help us get there.
Right. So whenever we make a goal, we have to make, okay, how am I going to feel once I hit that goal?
Mm-hmm.
Because people make decisions based on emotion, and then they justify it with logic after the fact, right? So when I make a decision, it's all emotional based. Oh, this makes me feel sexy. This feels good. Oh, status. What am I doing to get the emotion? But if I reach this, what is the emotional factor I'm going to have? If I need to lose 20 pounds, what am I going to feel like if I lost that 20 pounds?
Yeah.
I'm going to have swagger. Do I feel more confident going out on a date? Do I have more energy so I can actually go to the beach? What is the feeling that I'm going to get if I actually reach this? If it's financial, what is the feeling when I'm going to feel safe, secure?
Right.
I can actually go on that trip finally. I can provide for my family. Connect all the feelings that you'll get from there, because then that's what keeps you course corrected.
Yeah.
Because I want to feel that. Because I don't like feeling like I feel right now, because if I was happy with what I feel like now, I wouldn't be working towards it. But we forget. So always link, okay, when I set my goal, here's the goal, here's the time frame, here's the steps, and this is what I'm going to feel if I hit that.
Right. Oh, that's so great. So, and kind of moving our conversation over to talking a little bit more health and fitness, although it's all intertwined, isn't it, Dr. Warman? Tell me about, I read something that you wrote about our bodies stuck in protective mode. We live in a very fast-paced world now. I feel like I am constantly being overstimulated. That's the best way I can describe it. I wish I didn't have to have a phone on me all the time, but I do, because that's the world that we live in and the industry that I'm in. So tell me about us being stuck in this protective mode and why that's concerning and what we need to do about that.
Okay, so there's the thing is part of the nervous system. There's 2 parts of our nervous system. There's a sympathetic nervous system, and there's what's called the parasympathetic part of our nervous system. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is our stress nervous system. This is our fight or flight response. Okay, when we come into a point of stress, our body goes into a protective mode.
Right.
All the blood goes from our organs to our extremities to be as strong and fast as possible. Like if a bear attacks you, you got 2 choices. You either fight it or you run like hell, right? So we have to be as more physically strong as possible for a short period of time. Hormones get elevated, everything gets elevated. But the thing is, it's also flight. We're supposed to move to bring everything down.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, we're in constant stimulation every moment. Your phone, your text, your email, this. We get stressed out. So guess what happens? We get stuck in fight or flight. And when you're in fight or flight, that's protection. You cannot be in protection and repair at the same time in the human body.
And that's regardless of if it's a stressful event or not. It's just the nature of all the stimulation causes a stress response in us. Is that right?
It could be emotional stress. Mm-hmm. It could be chemical stress, what you're putting in your body, or it could even be physical stress because I'm sitting too much, I'm slouched over, my posture is bad. So physical, chemical, and emotional stress all react the same way in the human body. And the body doesn't know the differences between good stress or bad stress. It just knows there's stress. The thing is, if we're always in fight or flight, we can't learn, we can't repair, we don't grow as human beings.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Right? I know kids, a lot of children nowadays are having bigger learning disabilities because they're stuck in this fight or flight response. And it's hard for them to learn and read and do all this because they're on this gas pedal. So your sympathetic nervous system is the gas pedal of the body. Your parasympathetic is the brake pedal. And nowadays, we're getting so stimulated. We got these Ferrari engine brains with bicycle brakes. We can't slow down. We have to be able to slow down and get into repair mode. And part of that is eating healthy diet, especially green leafy vegetables, bringing us down. Meditation is huge for this. This is probably the biggest key factor because when you do good meditation, you get out of the past, you don't worry about the future, you stay in the present. And when you stay in the present, you lose all that stimulation. Wow. And we need to do that between 5 and 20 minutes a day because we're inundated with stress all the time. And the other thing that decreases stress is movement. So we got to exercise every day for at least 20 minutes to bring the hormone levels every day, just to bring the hormone levels down. I don't care if it's a walk, it's a brisk walk. Right. But we have to move every day. And most of society is stuck behind a computer nowadays. We don't move enough. And if we move at a slow pace. So we got to be able to get that heart rate up just a little bit so that your hormones start to regulate and then you can actually calm and start to learn and repair again.
You know, so you're a dad. So we talked about kids here and that that pings me in right here, you know, and I think about that and how this lifestyle, it's stressful enough as an adult, as a working professional, but gosh, yes, I honestly hadn't even thought about what that is doing to our kids that are becoming teens, that are becoming adults. So, you know, put on your dad hat for a hot second here. You know, what advice can you give us when we're talking about applying these principles to our kids?
Well, do by example. You know, my kids look at me and they think I'm like a superhero because they like my muscles and all these things. It's cute, it's funny. But my son does push-ups with me every morning. Like I create a rhythm with him and a routine so that he sees the lifestyle. I take them hiking all the time. We eat good food. Like they learn the habits from us. And I allow them to feel and express what's going on with them too, and not just suck it up, because a lot of times when we were growing up as kids, as a man especially, if you're emotional, they say, suck it up, be a man. So then we start to bottle everything inside of us. With my son, if he's having a rough time, I'm going to tell him, okay, say, what are you feeling? How's it affecting you? What can we do to make this better? And then he starts to come out of it. But I want to lead by example with my children. They have to see that a healthy lifestyle creates good things. They see that I work hard for my job. They see that I inspire other people. They love that I write for the magazine. They're so like, you know, they see that as like dad's like a celebrity. It's
and
cool.
It's so beautiful too. It's such a nice spread.
The little things that add up.
Yes.
And one thing I always say with kids, because kids sometimes have a hard time eating good stuff. You know, they want the chicken fingers and the mac and cheese all the time and stuff like that. But can we add one good thing? Can we add the apple? Can we add the greens? It's not always eliminating, it's addition.
Oh.
For all of us in lifestyle. Just because I ate Taco Bell doesn't mean I shouldn't eat the salad later. Like it doesn't just crash. Add the good stuff too. And you'll start to see that dramatic change. So when my kids, it's mainly by example.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want you to tell me that it's okay to push back on my kids
Absolutely.
I definitely try to lead by example, but that is really hard to be the scout leader all the time when you've got teenagers and preteens that, are grumbling because that's their nature right now.
Right. Set, okay, if we do this, here's the reward later.
Yeah.
Like, give them a delayed gratification that they actually, okay, if I suck it up now and I do the painful stuff now, this will be the good thing.
Yeah.
So there's always a balance. Like, you're never going to be perfect all the time. Like, I let my kids eat junk food too from time to time, but not all the time.
Right.
I live by the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I try to be good. 20%, whatever. Enjoy your life.
Yeah, solid advice. So I want to ask you about HIIT workouts, high intensity interval training. I've read some about this. I did one this morning myself, actually, through my fitness app. But some of the feedback I've gotten from my friends and colleagues has been they're having a hard time wrapping their heads around that because they're not out pounding the pavement for a half hour straight. And, it is a different way of thinking about fitness, but from what I understand, it's highly effective. So can you take us through the science behind HIIT? Because I know that that's something that you recommend. So what's
Absolutely.
the science behind that? What are the benefits behind this type of training?
Well, let's look at the old school way of training. Like you just said, the cardio for an hour on the treadmill and the consistent all this, right? And when we do stuff like that, it's actually a stress response in the body. You become cardio resistant. Our body wants to store fat so that we don't die. So the longer you're on this thing, and then your hormone levels get all messed up. So high intensity interval training, what's called HIIT, is to stimulate the body to get into a metabolism and regulate your hormones at the same time. That way you're not using muscle for energy, you're only using mainly fat for energy. Working out smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
I know so many people, they sweat their like crazy in the gym, yet their body never changes. And they look at me and like, Dave, you're not sweating all the time. You're like, no, but I'm smart about what I do because I know the science behind what I'm doing. So if you're doing cardio HIIT, you start off, say, on a treadmill, a Stairmaster, an elliptical, something, you're easy for 90 seconds. You're just going, you're getting your heart rate going, you're getting motion going so you don't injure yourself. But then for 30 seconds, you're going to go as hard as you can. Boom. Now, 30 seconds is done. You rest for 90 seconds. Let the heart rate come down because heart rate variability, can it go up? Can it go down? The quicker makes you healthier.
Interesting.
It's one of the tests to see, are you actually healthy? Because if I run down the street, but my heart rate doesn't go out, I'm going to collapse. I'm going to blow a tire. So when you do that, you're changing your heart rate variability, means you can adapt to stress. I can adapt to the stimulation of the emotional stress, the chemical stress, and the physical stress, because my heart rate can adapt very quickly. I don't get stuck there. So 90 seconds easy, 30 seconds hard. You do 7 rounds of that, and you end with the 90 seconds easy. And that's the best way to get into fat burning, hormonal production, and maintaining muscle mass. It's
a very efficient workout too, as far as time-wise, right? Like you can cut down what used to be hours. And it's, for me, I find it's a lot more enjoyable. I don't dread it.
No, the thing is, it has to be something that's convenient too, so that you keep doing it, so it becomes a habit. And you can do this with just weights. You can
interesting.
For 30 seconds hard, walk around, do something else easy, then 30 seconds hard. Like you got to keep that heart rate elevated a little bit, but you don't want to go to maximum heart rate. You want to get into fat burning zone, which is between 60 to 85% of your maximum heart rate.
So this applies to both cardio workouts and strength training workouts.
Correct.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
If your goal is fat burning, it does. Yes.
Right. And you need to have that mix of both. So, okay. I want to ask you a question about how we can achieve wellness in our fitness goals when we're in an interpersonal relationship, because sometimes it's really hard to align our personal goals with that of our family, with our spouse, with our partner, with our kids that might not be in that same mindset. So what advice can you give someone like me? I got a big family. I've got definitely very goal-oriented, got the things that I'm working on. How can I have success in that when not everybody is a toe in the line?
This can be a challenge for sure, especially if your significant other doesn't have the same values towards health and wellness as you do. So then you have conflicting values. What I like to do when it comes to this type of situation, whether it's my kids or someone I'm with, is I want to show them the goals that I have and how it affects the values in their life. Okay, so you think about it, there's a yin and a yang to everything we do. There's a positive and a negative to everything we do. If I want to be with someone that's very healthy, in shape, guess what? The negative side is we're not going to go drinking beer every night and we're not going to be eating wings and stuff. There's always an opposite that it comes along with it. If I want a woman that's very beautiful and maintains herself, well, she's going to need time to get ready. It's not going to be just quick on the fly. So there's always a positive and negative to it. Mm-hmm. So I would talk to my significant other and saying, I want to be healthy and strong for you. I want to be sexy for you. This is what it's going to take me to maintain that level so that I am the best version of myself for you guys. Mm-hmm. You can link it to their benefit. They don't think it's selfish.
Right.
If you only link it about your benefit, then they feel it's selfish. Like my kids know that I'm going to the gym and they understand why. They understand dad wants to be able to play and compete with them. They understand dad wants to live to 105. Dad does not want to croak at 60. So they understand the dynamic, and my significant other, my partner, she will know that, I want to maintain this level of confidence and swagger and sexiness and entrepreneurship, because this is where my power comes from. When I feel good about myself, I'm better in every other area of my life. I treat her better. I'm more productive. That all comes along with being powerful.
Yeah.
And to me, life is about expansion. Mm-hmm. I'm always trying to expand, and I'm always going to challenge my people and my sphere of influence to expand as well.
Yeah. No, and that's great advice. And it seems like that's something, you're talking about significant others. That's conversation you can sit down and have with your kids, right? And again, leading by example. I really like that. We hear a lot these days about inflammation. There's a lot of diseases of inflammation. There is systemic inflammation that's going on. From your, your perspective as a doctor, tell us, what is inflammation and why do we need to be concerned about it?
Well, the thing is sickness and disease lives in an inflammatory, acidic environment. Mm-hmm. Cancer develops in an inflammatory, acidic environment. It does not live in a healthy environment. Mm-hmm. The host has to be sick for things to grow. When the host is healthy, it fights everything off. Mm-hmm. So inflammation typically comes from diet. Most of the time, it's what we're putting in our body.
Right. And
what's the number one cause of inflammation? Sugar. Yeah. Sugar is the biggest, and it's the most addictive. It's more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah.
So when we're in an inflammatory response, our immune system is suppressed. Bad cells can be created, so they don't heal and repair, and then they keep degenerating and getting sicker or multiplying a bad cell, and that creates sickness. So when someone is systemically inflamed, they have a lot of health issues. Yeah. So then you got to go to more alkaline type diet to decrease the inflammation and avoid fried foods, white refined, soda pop, alcohol. Those are the bigger triggers right there. But we have to get out of this inflammatory response in order for the body to completely heal and be strong and healthy. Because if you have any inflammation, if you have weak spots in your body, old injuries, that's where it shows up. If I injured my neck as a kid and then I have bad diet for a long time, guess what? My neck starts to hurt. I didn't do anything in my neck, but the inflammatory response goes to the weakest parts of the body. Mm-hmm. And that's where things start to show up. A lot of people say, my knees are bothering me. Mm-hmm. Well, what's your diet been like? Mm-hmm. I have patients coming all the time saying, you know what? I'm not feeling good today on Monday. I'm just like, okay, what happened this weekend? I went partying, I ate this, I did that. Like, you're an inflammatory response. You need to drink a bunch of water. Let's do some apple cider vinegar. And I want you to eat a lot of green vegetables to kind of decrease all the inflammation. Let's throw some probiotics or omega fatty acids in there and you're good to go.
Yeah. I've heard about that, about the apple cider vinegar, like just putting a tablespoon of it in a cup of water a day, even.
It's totally gross.
No, I've done it.
It's one of those disgusting things
you'll enjoyable, but you get used to it.
It's just, I just put it in a little bit of water, and what you do is lime or lemon juice, and it decreases some of the taste. And I actually have to plug my nose.
Knock it back. That's the right kind of shot to have right there. I love it. Lay off the alcohol, do the ACV.
Exactly. But decrease inflammation. Yeah.
I love that. I really appreciate that. It's like trying the new things, and we're talking about making these changes, and it sounds difficult, but guaranteed we're going to feel better when we make these dietary changes, right? All of these lifestyle changes we're talking about, but you cut out, like it's very hard for a lot of people to imagine not having the fried foods, not having the slice of birthday cake, not having the glass of wine at night. Sometimes that's a lot for people to wrap their heads around. But at the same time, like we're pretty much guaranteed, right, doctor, that like that's been my experience. When you cut the stuff out, like you really feel better all around.
So right in the beginning, if this is a new journey for you, don't just eliminate, replace. So if you're a soda pop drinker, you like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or whatever it is, go to Zevia. Go to something that's a healthier version of the bad version.
Right. Yeah. Stevia.
Right? So you don't feel like you're depriving yourself.
Right.
And then add something good.
Right.
Like it's the 5%. Can I get 5% better every day?
Yes.
Little jumps make the difference over the long run. If I try to cut everything out cold turkey, I will usually fail.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why a lot of those New Year's resolutions don't work, right?
They never stick because you didn't put emotion to it. They didn't have the right strategy. It was too painful. So that short-term pain was too much for them to deal with.
Right. And, I've taken a lot of your time today, but I do have one more question because intermittent fasting is something that we hear a lot about lately. Yes. So, and I know there's a lot of scientific evidence behind this, and I know that you've written about this, and it's something a principle that you try to follow, but how does it work? What's the science behind it? And again, why is it something that we should give a try?
So the whole science behind this comes from like the caveman era. Okay. We are innately hunter-gatherers. We don't usually eat all day long. Okay. So back in the caveman areas, we used to have to go hunt for our food, gather our food, then we'd have one big meal at night. And then we do it the same day. So we'd be burning off all these calories. So what it does is it allows your body's digestive system to actually eliminate and go through everything instead of constantly being bombarded with new food and stuff coming in our body. It gives your system a break. Because if you're constantly getting food, you're constantly shutting down other areas of your health. So you'll lose energy. And you get into what's called fat burning. Okay. So if I've been going without food for a certain period of time, my body goes into what's called ketosis, which means I'm using fat for fuel. And the term breakfast means breaking your fast, right? So you're actually breaking your fast and then you're getting out of fat burning. So here's my approach to it. I do what's called the 5-1-1 approach. 5 days a week, I fast for at least 16 hours, meaning if I stop eating at 7 o'clock at night and then I don't eat till 11 the next day. So that's 5 days a week. Right. 1 day a week, I'll actually go over 20 hours. This is the hardest day. But 1 day a week, I eat all day long.
Right.
Why am I doing this? To keep my body guessing. Anytime you do anything too long in your body, the body learns how to adapt. We're an adaptive system. So that's why things plateau out for a lot of people, because they're doing the same thing over and over and their body gets used to it. The human body is made to adapt to the stressful environment so it can normalize. Well, I got to keep shocking the system so that I keep staying in the direction I want to keep going. Now, if you're a woman, 14 to 16 hours, you got different hormone levels than we do. So you're a little less. You're about 2 hours less than we are.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard about that concept, I guess, when we were talking about plateauing and changing things up when it comes to fitness. I had no idea that applied to our metabolism. That's really interesting. And I am taking it this is where the term like the keto diet comes from. I've heard that term.
Similar. Like to me, I don't look at the diet as I'm eliminating all my carbs or I'm limiting, like I don't, that's not sustainable. Okay. Intermittent fasting is easy because it's just a time to give my body a break. That's the way I look at it. I'm giving my body a break. Okay. But then I got to introduce food to my life. Now I look at food as fuel, not as a satisfaction. I used to look at it as a satisfaction or a reward, and I made worse choices. So one of the things, my first meal after my fasting is done is typically a salad. I want to keep my carbohydrate level low at that time, starchy carbs anyways, but I need to get some protein and some veggies in my body. Now, if I'm going to eat something 2 hours later, now there's a little bit more carbs, whether it's a protein shake, a protein bar, something. But my dinner time is where I eat carbohydrates. Which is contradictory to what we've been told for the last 30 years.
And of all breakfast foods of all time are all sugary structures.
We need carbohydrates for glycogen stores and for brain development. So if we don't eat carbohydrates, it's way harder to fast. It's almost impossible. And we lose energy for that factor. But the goal is with your last meal, eat till you're full. Don't eat till you're like, bleh, like overfull, but eat till you're full, not, oh, I'm just going to have 500 calories or 800 calories.
Right.
No, you eat till you're full so that you can actually maintain the fast the next day.
Excellent. Oh,
And I think people make that biggest
sense.
mistake. They don't eat till they're full. They just eat because they want to lose weight.
Right.
No, you got to shift that metabolism too, because we need a certain amount of calories to maintain muscles.
Right, right. Gosh, what a paradigm shift. But so interesting. Dr. Warman, thank you so much for your time today. I apologize for the dog barking in the background.
Oh, I think I have sirens coming by here.
It's life in the COVID world at our home TML studio here in suburban Atlanta, Georgia. And wouldn't you know it, I believe the Amazon guy came in the middle of our interview. So I apologize. If folks want to find you, what's the best place for them to find you online?
Well, right now online, if you go to Warman Way F.I.R.E on Instagram, that's probably the best. Yeah, I'm developing my website right now with all the modules and training that I do one-on-one consulting right now. So if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, great. Or you can email me at warmanway@gmail.com.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today. Folks, you heard it right here, straight from Dr. Warman. Fitness, wellness, lifestyle changes. Sometimes you got to make that paradigm shift. And Dr. Warman, we thank you so much for your time. We hope you'll come back again with us soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's been an honor.